Your gut health could be the key to your overall well-being. Heather Pfrank from Horizon Health joins us to talk about the powerful connection between nutrition and digestive health. That's what's next on Being Well.
This is you, and you are why we do what we do. Because the way you feel matters. Sarah Bush Lincoln, trusted, compassionate care.
For over 50 years, Horizon Health has been keeping you and your family healthy. And although some things have changed, Horizon Health's commitment to meet the ever-changing needs of our community has remained the same. Horizon Health, 50 years strong.
Carl is redefining healthcare around you, innovating new solutions and offering all levels of care when and where you need it. Investing in technology and research to optimize healthcare, Carl is always at the forefront to help you thrive.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of WEIU TV's Being Well. I'm your host, Lacey Spence, and today we're going to be talking about nutrition and gut health. And joining us for this conversation, we have a new guest to the show coming to us from Horizon Health. We have Heather Pfrank in the house. Welcome to Being Well.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. We love for our viewers to be able to get to know who they're listening and learning from. Before we dive into our topic, can you give us a little background? Where are you from? What'd you study?
So I'm originally from Findlay, Ohio. I studied foods and nutrition as a bachelor's degree and went on and got my master's degree in dietetics. So along the way there, I've done a little bit of everything, probably in the realm of dietetics. But currently I'm in Terre Haute, Indiana, working at Horizon Health.
Awesome. How'd you end up in the Midwest?
So I went to high school in Casey, Illinois, actually.
Okay.
And so it kind of stems from that. I actually went to Eastern Illinois for my undergrad in foods and nutrition. So I'm kind of back where it all began.
Well, yeah, welcome home. Welcome back to campus.
Thank you. It's been a while.
Yeah, some things might have changed since then. So as we're starting our conversation today, a dietitian. What is it? What do you do? What do you study and look at and help people learn?
Okay, so a dietitian is a health professional. Sometimes they're called allied health professionals because they kind of, in a supportive role, they support the doctors and the nurses and all the things that we do. Dietitians do a whole number of things. They get a college degree. Right now, it's a master's degree. You can't graduate with less than a master's degree from school. And then you're open to being an inpatient dietitian in a hospital. You're the foods and nutrition experts in an outpatient setting, in an inpatient setting. We do a lot in the community. There's dialysis dietitians. So there's all kinds of areas that dietitians are actually involved in as your key nutrition resource.
Okay, so making sure that we are staying healthy with what we're putting into our bodies there. So talking about gut health today, what is it? What does that mean?
Well, it means a whole host of things, quite honestly. Gut health is a pretty broad term.
Okay.
And so we can narrow it down and we can go down different paths. But in general, gut health is just how well probably you're absorbing foods, how balanced you're eating, and how your kind of your small and large intestine and your colon are actually getting along with everything that you're eating. It's important to have a functioning, well-functioning gut so you can absorb nutrients and you can have a good digestive process that doesn't cause you too much irritation.
And so gut health, it expands beyond just whether your tummy feels good or not. It touches a lot of things in the body. Can you kind of walk us through what those things are, what those ramifications are of what we're putting in our system?
Okay, so Actually, digestion starts in your mouth when you
Okay.
eat and you chew food. Okay, it begins there and it ends by expelling waste, right? And so the whole process from beginning to end takes quite a while. And so usually when we talk about gut health, we're kind of talking about the small and large intestine and the absorption of nutrients and how well your body's processing it and eliminating everything. Because if you don't have good gut health, your gut microbiome, which is all the bacteria in your small and large intestine, they work and they function to help keep us healthy, keep our food moving through our system, and not have us have any kind of ill effects like inflammation, and our immune function is running good, and honestly we can just stay healthy.
So let's talk about this gut microbiome, because hearing buzzwords, this is what they feel like to me.
Yeah.
Prebiotics, probiotics, you can get it, in yogurts or in a pill form or whatever. Is it solid science? Like, what are we dealing with here? What's the nitty gritty of it that's actually going to help me function better?
So there's two things that are important. There's probiotics and there's prebiotics.
Okay.
They're similar words and you can kind of get confused with them. But the probiotics are actually all the good bacteria that's in your gut that help you digest food. If you don't have enough or enough of the right kind, the balance gets mixed up, and then you have all these different things with digestion or poor digestion. It doesn't allow you to absorb nutrients as well. So we like to keep all the good bacteria in our gut and not have it overrun with what we call bad bacteria.
Okay.
We can eat foods that replenish the good bacteria, which are prebiotics. They feed that bacteria and keep it going in your gut. We want it to flourish. We want to keep all that bacteria in there. There can be too much harmful bacteria, and so we want to eat foods that will help our gut stay balanced, our gut microbiome stay well.
So the prebiotics feed the probiotics?
So the prebiotics are actually the bacteria that live in your gut. So it's a little confusing. And the probiotics are what's in your gut, and then the prebiotics are actually the nutrients from a variety of foods that do feed that bacteria. So yes.
So if I'm trying to find good sources, how do I know if what I'm ingesting is actually making an impact or if it's more of a sales pitch?
So whole, non-processed foods are your best bet.
Okay.
We want fiber-containing foods. We want fresh fruits and vegetables. We want, even if you have them cooked, it's fine. We're looking for different sources of fiber, whole fibers from breads and from pastas, not necessarily the processed ones, but something that has a little more fiber left in it. Oats, bran, all those types of things we want to kind of work into our system. A nice variety, because they don't all carry the same type of bacteria, a nice variety from those food sources will feed your gut and give you a nice balance of what you need. Now we can use supplements as well, so don't forget about supplements. They do work. The problem with supplements is it's not a very regulated industry sometimes, and so they're kind of self-regulated still. And so you have to be careful with what brand and what marketing they're using to try to get you to buy their product. You kind of want to key in on what exactly you want from a supplement to help you boost your good bacteria.
And as you're talking about the process being from the mouth down to expelling waste, can you explain a little further what role fiber plays in that?
So fiber helps keep things moving. We can get kind of jammed up in our digestion process, and we have muscles that kind of move things along. And so having bulk, sometimes it's called bulk in your diet, keeps things moving at a nice pace and keeps things moving along. So having fiber, there's different kinds of fiber. So there's digestible, there's soluble, and there's insoluble. So some of it sticks around to help feed this bacteria, and the other kind of helps move things along and gets things out of your system that need to come out.
Is one better than the other?
No, because they both play a different role.
Different functions.
And so you kind of need a good balance of both. And fiber is something that we don't normally get in our diet very well. That's one of the things that everybody, males and females, need to increase is their fiber intake for sure.
What's that goal range that we should be trying to hit?
So usually for women, we're looking for probably 12 to 15 grams a day, and then men is a little bit higher. They can go up to like 18 grams a day. Yeah. But it's tough to get. Sometimes we don't get all the fiber we need in our diet. Sometimes it's a balance. You know, you have to purposely try to put that fresh fruit or vegetable in there, or purposely try to eat an oat bran muffin instead of that blueberry muffin, you know, to get the fiber in. So.
And is that where it can be important too to reach out to a dietitian to kind of help you discover where those better sources of fiber and, you know, the other nutrients might be?
Sure. So dietitians are going to have a whole host of resources, handouts, things to give you, or websites to visit that are tried and true and that will lead you to correct information, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And so you can get nice information from a dietitian for sure. And she can kind of help you plan a meal, plan a week's worth of menu, offer suggestions for substitutions in your whole diet, and make you feel like you don't have to be perfect all the time. Right?
Yeah.
It's a healthy balance. So falling off, you know, the wagon once in a while is okay, but as long as we get back on it, and overall good balance is kind of what we're aiming for.
Sure. Well, and we've talked a lot about how bacteria can have some negative effects that can manifest. But for me, what am I looking for? What are the signs that I have maybe an unhealthy gut?
So you're looking at mainly digestive symptoms, and the difference between an unhealthy gut and a healthy gut is basically just your signs and symptoms, because not everyone's the same.
Okay.
And so you're looking for like excessive gas, painful gas, bloating, let's see, things like Crohn's disease and irritable bowel syndrome are part of this whole digestive process, and that's actually irritation along the different parts of your digestive tract. And so the gut microbiome, the bacteria in there, help heal those areas, help keep inflammation down. It helps increase your immune system when it comes to all these types of symptoms that you may have. Abdominal pain is another one.
Can joint pain be one of them?
Joint pain isn't necessarily one of them, but it's more like pain in your belly, pain when you try to process food, like after you eat a meal. If you end up really bloated or gassy, you need to kind of look back and think, oh, what did I eat that is maybe not being broken down so well? And then maybe you can kind of add, if you need to add certain foods to help you replace bacteria in your gut to help things move along.
And say maybe you're taking an antacid or things like that. Can that impact the gut microbiome as well?
It can. A lot of people are on a lot of medicines sometimes. And so the balance of your gut trying to balance those medicines and process all that, and then process food, and it becomes a competition in there sometimes. So a lot of times we do try to supplement, because some people don't have the appetite to eat a lot of food, and so sometimes a good supplement will help the gut keep moving along, in addition to some medicines.
Sure. And I feel like a lot of times I hear post antibiotics, someone's tummy can be kind of rough, trying to get the things straightened back out. So we've talked about the negative side, but on the flip side, what can be signs of a healthy gut?
So really, a healthy gut is just the absence of all those things that we just talked about.
You feel good.
Yeah, you feel good. Your stomach doesn't hurt after you eat. You don't have bloating. You don't have painful bowel movements. I mean, things like that are all signs and symptoms or positive reinforcement that your gut's happy right now.
All right. Well, hey, and we want to get to that point. So if I'm somebody who's experiencing those symptoms we talked about, what steps can I take through diet to help my gut health?
Steps through diet. Let's see. Just overall, try to eat a balanced diet. Try to include all different types of fruits and vegetables, even ones that you don't typically like or maybe haven't liked in the past. Just give them a try. Include things like high fiber, soluble fiber, all those types of things. It will help you have better overall health. It will help you have clearer skin. It will help your mood. It will help you be maybe less depressed, because gut health kind of impacts all that stuff. Because if you don't feel good, if your tummy doesn't feel good, then it kind of impacts all those other areas or all those parts of your health. Yeah.
So maybe some misconceptions. What out there is maybe pseudoscience or tripping people up? They think they're doing something right, but it's not really benefiting them.
So I guess the first misconception may be that diet can solve it all.
Okay.
And diet can't solve it all, because we just mentioned maybe there's other factors, you know, a whole host of medicines that you're taking, or maybe you have some other chronic diseases going on that are kind of taking precedence, and the whole gut world is just kind of following suit. If you take a lot of medicine, sometimes it strips the bacteria out of your gut. And so sometimes we need to just kind of focus on putting it back in so your tummy gets healthy. So it doesn't just impact diet alone. You need to do some physical activity and some other stuff that keeps it going.
So this isn't an isolated thing. This is a lifestyle shift.
It can be, yes. If you're not a very balanced eater and you've done a lot of processed foods, or you've just kind of eaten a lot of fast foods for a number of years in your life, it can be quite a lifestyle change. Some people think that maybe following a gluten-free diet is the way to go as well. And the only people that honestly benefit from the gluten-free part is the people that are allergic to the gluten. And so it won't necessarily replenish bacteria in your gut, but it will help as far as a gluten intolerance. So that's kind of a myth. People think if they take the gluten out of their diet, their tummy will be happier and everything will move along better, but it's not necessarily the case unless you're intolerant to gluten.
And so then the folks who maybe eliminate dairy, are they hurtful, harmful?
So the only thing that's honestly benefiting, and that's another myth, is if you're lactose intolerant, it helps with those symptoms, which are similar symptoms to, you know, gut health, because when you try to process lactose and you're lactose intolerant, you get all that gassiness and you get all the stomach pains and all that kind of stuff goes along with it. So, but no dairy for lactose intolerant. You can tolerate some. Some people can't tolerate any. Some people can tolerate some. It's a highly individualized kind of thing. So you kind of have to work your way through it.
Sure. Well, and is it my primary care doctor or more of a specialist that can help me navigate through whether I'm having poor gut health or maybe I do have that intolerance? Who can help me get that answer?
So you can start with your primary care doctor, for sure. She or he is going to work you through a variety of tests based on your complaints and your signs and your symptoms of what your gut is actually trying to tell you. And then they may refer you on to a digestive specialist if there's other things going on that maybe we can't get resolved or that are just lingering issues for you with your digestive health.
So as a dietitian, I would imagine you probably don't work in a silo. You work with other providers.
Right.
What does that network of care kind of look like to make sure that the patient's getting the comprehensive kind of treatment that they need?
Sure. So it usually starts at the primary care doctor.
Okay.
You'll work through a whole host of issues, and they'll kind of work the problem, and the referral to a dietitian will come from probably the primary care or the specialist that comes next, maybe the digestive specialist or an internal medicine type of doctor. You can always ask for a referral to a dietitian if they don't think of it, because sometimes they get to thinking along other avenues and stuff. But working with the nurses, working with the dietitians, working with the doctors, it all kind of works together to find all the answers to the problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's say I'm somebody who I think I have this issue and I would like help, but I've already been through Dr. Google and maybe I've got a little white coat syndrome, but I am showing up at your door and I say, hey, I would like to improve my gut health. If I'm walking into that first appointment, what's your advice to me? Where are we starting?
So we're going to sit down and we're going to probably back up and we're going to start and just kind of review all the foods that you eat. And it will be a little bit cumbersome, but that's the time that you have to take to really kind of key in on what you're eating, what you're not eating. Yeah. And that'll show the dietitian like all the different areas you might be able to improve on, because some you might be doing really well in and we need to keep going in certain areas, and then we can focus on maybe some areas of improvement. So it's really sitting down and talking one-on-one and just reviewing your overall diet. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we do a 24-hour recall, which is everything you ate in the last 24 hours. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, it's kind of hard to remember sometimes. Or what you ate in the last week. You may also go home with a little a little binder that she'll have you write down, or he'll have you write down all the things that you ate and drank. And we look for patterns. And so then you'll come back, and then you may have realized a lot of stuff by doing that on your own at home, and you come in and we just talk about all the things that you need. She'll look at your chart, all the medicines that you're taking, all the other things you may have going on, to see if any of that is also impacting your gut. And she'll make a suggestion to the doctor and to yourself, and just kind of be the supportive nutrition piece of it, to try and keep everyone up on what we should be or shouldn't be doing for the nutrition end of it.
And we discussed fiber, processed foods, those sorts of things. Are you also taking into account anything like carbs versus sugars versus fats, or is that not as important as, processed or non-processed foods?
So what's important is probably not eating as many processed foods, ultra processed foods. You've probably heard that kind of buzzword recently. Ultra processed foods just have a lot of extra ingredients in them. They have a lot of preservatives in them. They typically have a lot of sugar, and a lot of excess fat in them. And so those types of foods and excess sugar and fat do nothing for your gut health. They just don't. They just add a bunch of calories.
When you say nothing, you mean nothing positive or just nothing nil?
Nothing positive. If you're trying to turn your gut health around, you really got to focus on the foods that contain that bacteria. And so we want to kind of replenish the gut with some bacteria, and then feed that bacteria with certain foods that have fiber in them, fruits, vegetables, whole fruits and vegetables, and a little less processed foods. Yeah.
So as we were going through our example, you're going to look at my diet, look at what I've been eating, and so then we go from there to see how I can improve?
Of course, yep.
And so how long is that kind of process of seeing when my body might respond? I'm sure it's a bit individualized, but is it, a couple weeks process, couple months process?
It is a little bit of a process, and sometimes people will get impatient and not see it all the way through. Yeah, because it does take a little bit of time to get some of your gut issues resolved and kind of calmed down. Because if inflammation is a part of it, it takes a while for the inflammation to calm down. And so the doctor might be giving you also some medicine to help that happen. And so we're working on the diet end to kind of help that happen. So it could be a 2 or 3 month process until you really feel significantly better. But it does depend on the person, and it depends on all the things going on.
We're in our last couple of minutes, and I do want to ask, so is there a difference between a diet to improve gut health versus lowering inflammation? Do those goals always go in tandem, or can they be handled separately?
They can be handled separately. For sure, we see people that have just inflammation issues that come in, and we just talk about overall healthy eating and kind of look through the diet. Like I said, we'll sit down and kind of pick through the diet on what you may be eating, what may be triggering some inflammation for you didn't think about, and kind of key in and just look for certain things, and really just start picking at your diet. And some people don't like their diet to be picked at, but that's how you find the things that may be triggering inflammation that you didn't think about. And so some of those are just very individualized type of things, and not necessarily the gut microbiome and the bacteria, but that can kind of secondary help keep inflammation down. So they can go in tandem, but they can also be, dealt with separately.
This might be a smidge off topic, but I have to see if you might have some advice on this. When it comes to soft drinks, we've got a regular soft drink, we've got zero sugar, we've got diet. Is any of them better or worse, or can I have my occasional beverage? What?
Certainly, yes. I am always one for moderation. So I always go for everything in moderation, because when you tell people they can't have something, then what do you want? You want that thing you can't have. And then people just go overboard on it, right? So it's kind of moderation. Keep it for special times. Keep it for times you don't normally do it, if you're going to be with your friends and family, and there's only regular soda there, and normally most of the time you don't drink soda at all, it's just normally water. Okay, that's the one time then you have the regular soda or something like that. So it's not the occasional thing that bothers you, it's just the all the time too much, when that's all we consume in a beverage is the sodas. So it kind of depends on your things that you have going on. So somebody with diabetes would benefit from a Diet Coke versus a regular Coke, because their main focus is not to have that extra sugar, to have their blood sugar go up, all right? And so a lot of people don't like the artificial sweeteners, but then that also depends on, well, does an artificial sweetener cause you to have headaches or cause you other symptoms? Then you shouldn't have it, or you shouldn't have certain types of sweeteners, right? So there's all kind of nuances and innuendos and very individualized things with food that it's hard to do like just a blanket approach to, should you have this, should you not have that? It really just depends on you and your goals for your body and your overall health.
Very well put. A great point to end on. Heather Pfrank, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You have filled us in on the ins and outs of gut health, and I hope our viewers enjoyed this episode and this season of Being Well. If you'd like to watch more episodes, you can find those on our YouTube channel at any time. We thank you for joining us this season, and we'll see you next time.
Carl is redefining healthcare around you, innovating new solutions and offering all levels of care when and where you need it. Investing in technology and research to optimize healthcare, Carl is always at the forefront to help you thrive.
For over 50 years, Horizon Health has been keeping you and your family healthy. And although some things have changed, Horizon Health's commitment to meet the ever-changing needs of our community has remained the same. Horizon Health, 50 years strong.
This is you, and you are why we do what we do. Because the way you feel matters. Sarah Bush Lincoln, trusted, compassionate care.